Council meeting for the budget to order. Can I have roll call, please?
Certainly. Mr. Schrader.
Here.
Mrs. Schatzinger.
Here.
Mr. Hanson.
Here.
Mr. Gallops.
Here.
Mr. Morrison.
Here.
Mrs. Kane. Mr. Wirch.
Here.
Mr. Split.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, I will call a public hearing open at 6:30 PM. Laura, do you want to start off with a summary of the changes?
Sure. There was one change that the council made to the proposed budget for 2021, and that was regarding the recycling money. There was a squad car in the operating budget, and the recycling money was used to fund the squad car for $22,500, which freed up money to fund 7 items. I suppose I could take that, it might be Paige. City of Ripon.
Hi, this is Paige King, returning the call in for City Council.
Okay. Hi, Paige, it's Lori.
Oh, hi, Lori.
Great, you're on speakerphone, and we just called the meeting to order, so perfect
Okay,
timing.
perfect. Thanks.
So there was one change to the proposed budget that was for recycling money to be used to fund a squad car in the police department operating budget, and that was for $22,500, and that was used to fund 7 items that were on the wish list from department heads, and that was $5,000 for the fire district for 10 external communication devices, $4,000 for the police department new phone hardware, $1,000 for building maintenance at the animal control building, $1,050 for a new computer at the senior center, $3,438 for LED lighting in the PD's dispatch area, $7,012 for costs associated with large item drop-off at the compost center, and $1,000 for the library computer. And then the balance of the recycling money, which would be $77,500, would be put in an equipment replacement fund that could be used to fund future capital purchases. That summarizes the change to the budget.
Thank you. This time I'll open up for public comment. If you have any comments or questions on the budget, I do ask that you keep the comments pertinent to the budget, and you limit your time to 5 minutes. Please step up to the microphone, state your name and address, and proceed.
Phyllis Peterson. I'm on Skunk Hollow, which actually, I've got Ripon address, but we're in a Green Lake Township. But my comment has to do with Ripon. For several years, I have thought it would be so nice if we would have some Christmas decorations on the west, going west out of town. I've talked to Candy at Webster's. I've talked to Luann at Ace. A few years ago, I said, so many of these towns, even little towns, have something up on their light poles. And to me, it's just a really welcoming thing for the holidays. And that is such a busy commercial area. And to me, it'd be very appropriate to have something. I thank Mr. Morrison for putting on Facebook your plea to the public to come tonight. And I've never done this before. I've never appeared. So that was really good that you did that. Anyway, that is my thought. And I don't know, is this Jim? I know Jim, because I think I mentioned it to Jim once. Jim, could you bring it up at the council meeting and let's get some lights? Christmas lights on those poles. It can't be a big budget item. I know it's probably too late for this year, but being this is budgetary for next year, this would be appropriate, and I hope that you will give it some concern. I know budgets are tight, but I thought of, when I talked to Luann, of possibly the businesses getting together and to put something together. But they have so much going on their minds and to get together to do that. So maybe it has to be a city proposition. So thank you. And that's all I have to say. Okay.
Thank you. Are there any more comments from the public? I'll ask one more time. Is there any more comments from the public on the budget? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing portion at 6:35 PM. And next, we will consider the resolution to adopt the 2021 budget.
Move to approve the resolution.
Second.
It has been moved by Al, seconded by Howie. Any discussion? Jim or John?
Since I was late in the last budget meeting, I just wanted to thank Al Schrader and Lori and Chief of Police, anybody that was involved with moving this money around from the recycling money to make that happen. I do feel, though, that we disappointed the citizens of Ripon by not talking more about the insurance premium and pay raise and things to that nature that could be help out the city budget. Just to point out to everybody that last year, we did raise the insurance premium $20 per month and gave the employees a 3% raise. This year, we didn't raise the insurance premium at all, and we gave them a 3% pay raise. So I feel that we didn't follow our responsibility to help out the citizens of Ripon. So.
You? Anyone else? Comments or questions on the resolution to approve this budget? Jolene?
And it's my first time going through this, so forgive me if this is not where you say it, but I do think it's appropriate that, to just acknowledge that someone local came to speak to us, request, the proposal is, obviously not to consider for this next year's budget at this time, and that we're moving forward in this, and perhaps, perhaps we share some guidance that an idea like that could be perhaps a good thing for a committee to consider. Perhaps in the future, it could be, maybe perhaps others have ideas, but I do think, I guess my question is, when someone brings this forward, typically we would say maybe it might be a discussion item in the future, but since they brought it for public hearing now and we're now voting on it, my question is, what type of formal guidance do we let that person know, and who will do that?
Lori, would you like to address that?
I guess it could be brought, the person could be invited to come and speak at one of the committees and see if there's interest, in the committee. If the committee is supportive, they could make a recommendation to the council. I guess we don't see it too much, so that might be an idea.
And that's exactly why I want to address it, because I think that it's pretty brave of someone to come here, and if, immediately we're now saying we're voting and we're not talking about it. Now, I'm not saying that's the right avenue, but I at least want to acknowledge that someone came and let them know that there are some avenues moving forward, even if it's not being voted on for the budget, to consider that conversation.
And we do look for input on the budget process, every year. So if there are specific things, like especially if council members want to see something, that would be a good time to let staff know and try and squeeze it in.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the resolution to adopt the 2021 budget and tax levy, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Schrader.
Aye.
Mrs. Schatzinger.
Aye.
Mr. Hanson.
Aye.
Mr. Gallops.
Aye.
Mr. Morrison.
Aye.
Mrs. Kane. Oh, sorry. Mr. Wirch.
Aye.
Mr. Split.
Nay.
Motion carries 5-2.
Thank you. At this time, seek a motion to adjourn until 7 o'clock for the regular council meeting.
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by David. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, or, sorry, opposed? We are adjourned until 7 PM.